Anjali Gupta. She's a graduate from Delhi University, MBA in HR from INT Ghaziabad, and her last assignment is, heading HR for Mascom Global Limited, and then from 2009, she started, running her organization, Eloquent Now, and she's a
Hi
motivational
everyone.
yeah, she's a motivational speaker and works with entrepreneurs and professionals to help them master their stage presence, which is very, very important. You may have a lot of knowledge, but you always need, a right way of presenting it and winning the, audience. So she's the author of, Parenting Public Speaking, and her book is also available on Amazon. So Anjali, we are so delighted to have you here, and thank you so much, and we look forward to your great session, and it's all over to you now.
Thank you so much, my friends, for joining me in. A very warm welcome to all of you to my session. I would love to make it a very interactive session. It is a delight to be here. So, friends, in order to make it more learning oriented, I would recommend one thing. I would encourage you to write down your questions, if any, whatever is there in your heart, to ensure that you get answers to your queries. This is what I'm looking forward to. I will keep on giving my tips, but definitely it is very important for you to learn from this session, learn a lot from this session. Try to take away as much as possible. So keep typing your questions in the chat window, and I will see to it that I answer all your questions as we move forward. Right, my friends? So first question, my friends, is what is it that you understand by stage presence or presentation skills? Please type in the chat box so that I can really understand what is your understanding about this, either your stage presence or presentation skills. Do I have answers from all of you? I'm looking forward to your answers.
Yeah, so you want us to type in the chat
Yes,
window?
please. In case you want me to take it as like one-on-one session, I can do that, like everybody speaking to each other. Is that what you're looking at?
No, I mean the chat is fine. Actually, chat works good. Yeah.
Yes. So I believe like we can go for
Yeah, so you
this.
can ask your question again. Probably we are all are not
Okay.
very clear. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'll repeat my question, my friends. My first question is, what is it that you would like to learn in this particular session? What is it that you understand by presentation skills or mastering your stage presence? This is my question. Please type your answers in the chat box. Meanwhile, let me introduce myself. By the time you type your answers in the chat box, my name is Anjali Gupta. I'm a coach of public speaking. I help people to master their stage presence. So this is what I do. This is what I've told you. And the question is, why do I do what I do? Well, friends, there was a time when even I was not good at public speaking. I was not at all good at my presentation skills. And once I mastered it, I realized one thing. It was not that difficult as I thought it to be. It is very, very easy. So what is it that makes things difficult? And I realized it was nothing else but my mindset that was making things difficult for me. And that is what happens with all of us, my friends. Things become difficult because we make them difficult. And the question is, how did I decide to make it easier for you and for me and for everybody? So, friends, I decided that I'm going to teach everybody how to become better at public speaking, how to become better at their stage presence, how to master their stage presence and become great presenters. And this is what is required, my friends. There are a few tips that I'm going to share with you. So let's move on to my next slide. I'm sure all of you are sitting in a comfortable place. You have a headset with you. Have a copy and a pen ready because it is going to help you take down notes and remember everything that I have told you. I will be sharing with you And of course, right? So some of the things that you are going to get the most in case you listen actively to my session, experience the process, be a seeker, be a learner, participate actively, learn from the peers, and learn by doing. Atul is saying that stage presence means that we know our audience to whom we are talking to. Connected with our thoughts and presentation is how we can connect with the audience and deliver our message to them. Absolutely right, Atul. That's wonderful. You have a good understanding. Let us see if we can learn something more as to how is it that we should go about mastering our stage presence with the few tips that I have to share with you. So friends, a little bit about me that has already been shared with you. So I'm skipping these slides while I run the organization Eloquent now. And many people ask, okay, what is the meaning of eloquent? It means get fluent. And with a now attached to it, it means get fluent right now. I've been awarded as a coach of public speaking. I've written this book, Parenting Public Speaking. It is available on Amazon. I'm planning to write another book, which I have announced just now on my Facebook Live. I've spoken at all these places. All right, so let us get back to work. 7 secrets to winning your clients with impactful presentations. How is it that you can master your stage presence? Well, friends, let me ask you one question. What are the challenges that you have faced in your presentation skills? I would like you to write that down in the chat box so that you get a better understanding and I also get a better understanding of what my audience is like. And if you follow me diligently, if you just follow me, whatever I'm doing, it would not be difficult for any one of you to master your stage presence. So your question is, what are the challenges that you face in your presentation skills? Please type the answer in the chat box. Losing focus. All right. Raj says losing focus. Anyone else who would like to come up with an answer? Okay, Raj, let me ask you one more question. What is it that makes you lose focus? Retaining attention till the end. As I said, Raj, follow me. Whatever I'm doing, I'm going to ensure that I retain your attention till the end. And then towards the end, give me a feedback as to what I did well, right? Be ready. A simpler way to present. All right, this is what Let Us Talk. It says, what could be the simplest way to present? Fear, keeping the audience engaged. Okay, Manisha says fear. Atul says, it is always an audience mix, so it is a problem delivering your message to the beginners, intermediates and experts, as I hate always to be mixed while presenting. I am not really clear about your question, Atul. If you could just rephrase it in a little more simpler form, it would help me to answer you. It would help me to help you. Raj says getting audience's participation. Our audience is a mix. Atul says this thing. Well, all right, Atul. And that is perhaps a challenge. Now, let us take an example, Atul. Right now, I do not even know who my audience is, right? These could be housewives. Most of you are professionals. I simply know this. Some of you might be the clients of the organization. Some of you are like vendors. I do not know who you are. But then one thing, please remember, absolutely ensure that you are mindful of your stage presence. Now, what do I mean? Well, whenever you go on the stage, make it a point that you love the people, even if you do not see them. I cannot see you right now, can I? No. But then I love talking to you. So if you love doing whatever you are doing, it is going to help you out. That is the most important thing. You know, what are the few mistakes that we make when we are not mindful of our presence on the stage? Well, sometimes, as you said, we lose focus. Why do we lose focus? Because we put either too much focus or we do not focus at all. Confused as to whatever I'm saying? Well, it goes like this. Either we prepare too much or we do not prepare at all. And when we prepare too much, we lose our focus because we have over prepared. And when we under prepare, again, it makes us lose our focus because we lose our confidence. So, these are some of the reasons why people lose their focus. So if you're rightly focused, in case you love doing whatever you are doing, which is the most important thing, and of course, be prepared, be ready, but do not be over ready or do not be under prepared. Do your homework well. That is what is required. The first thing in place, and that is what is going to help you. So the first thing is be mindful of your presence. So what are the few things that you must do? Well, whenever you get an assignment or a presentation to work upon, or you have to work towards mastering your stage presence, make it a point that you understand your subject well. Put your thoughts in place. That is what is going to help you out, putting your thoughts in place so that you know what is it that you will speak on a particular slide, what is it that you're going to speak on a particular point, and then practice it. Practice it every single day in case you are not confident. And that is what is going to give you all the more confidence because you are prepared. Yes, my friends, and it is going to help you this way. So once you tell yourself, okay, I have to ensure that my presence on the stage is going to be awesome. It works, my friends. Yes. So you have to feed in the right feedback, the right thoughts in your brain. Instead of fear, tell yourself, oh, I'm so much confident. I know my subject so well. I would be able to ace it. And that is what is going to make a difference in your presentation. Be happy to be amongst a different set of people because everyone throws a different kind of a challenge at you. Love your audience. And unless and until you love your audience, you are not going to ace your presentation. So whosoever it is, irrespective of the years of experience, irrespective of their age group they are in, whether they are the elderly people, senior people, youngsters, peer group, employees, team members, anybody to everybody. Make it a point that you love them because that stage is your stage, your presence. You have to master your stage presence and ensure that you do a great job. Even if the audience is a mix, Atul, do not worry at all. Are you with me, guys? Whatever I have said, does it make sense? Please type Y for yes in the chat box in case it does. All right. Our second tip, my friends, is plan your message well. There is a mistake that people make usually. They say, oh, I already know everything. Why is it that I need to plan my message? Well, there is a big mistake that you make. Whenever we cook food, we always plan our ingredients. We always plan our spices. Whenever we do any desk job or whenever we decide to go for a gym, we plan our entire day. This is what we have to do. We plan our diaries. We always say one thing. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So the choice is entirely yours. This is what you have to do. You have to do a great job for yourself. And in order to do a great job, it is better that you plan well. This is what you're going to speak next. This is what you're going to speak thereafter. And point number 1, point number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whatever is the number of your points, you have to ensure that you plan your message well, because unless and until the message is planned well, people would not be able to understand whatever you might say, which is the most important thing. And let us say if I I'm delivering this presentation right now, I'm delivering this stuff, and I do not plan my message well, would you appreciate it? Type yes in the comment section in case you say you would appreciate an unplanned message, or no in case you say you would not appreciate a planned message. Y for yes and N for no in the chat box, my friends. Please type it. What do you think? My question is, should we plan our message or should we not plan our message? Right? So thank you, Manisha, for your cooperation, for your writing the answer, for participating. And we have so many other participants here. I would encourage all of you to participate and make it a point that you type in the chat box, so that whatever questions you have, it is only going to help you out. Try to get all your concerns resolved today for presentation skills, any areas of challenge that you might be facing. So, what was our first tip that I shared with you? Okay, I'll answer you, Manisha. But what was the first tip that I shared with you? Guys, please type in the chat box. And what was my first tip? Okay. So, Manisha, to answer your question, it is very important you have this third slide that I'm sharing with you, which says a VIFM, which is what is in it for me? The first thing that you have to do is you have to ensure that you plan your presentation according to your audience. And once you do that, you address their pain areas. There is no reason as to why you would forget whatever you have to say. But you need to sit down with yourself first in order to plan your conversation with your audience, because unless and until you do that, you are definitely going to forget it. The reason why we forget it when we go on the stage is we think, oh, we know everything. When we go on the stage, we would be able to speak out, but it does not happen like this unless and until you plan your message well. You sit down with yourself and be prepared to answer the kind of questions that the audience might ask. Do your homework well. You would not be able to ace your presentation. You would just keep forgetting whatever you might want to say. So make it a point to put your thoughts together. It is very important that you write down whatever questions the audience might ask, and then how is it what you are going to say? Put everything in writing. Could I answer you, Manisha? Could you get your answer? Please type Y for yes in the chat box. Thank you, Manisha. I'm glad I could be of help. So friends, this was about VIFM. So what was my first tip to all of you? Be mindful of your stage presence. My second tip was plan your message well. And number third that I have shared with you is VIFM. What is in it for me? So make it a point that whenever you are presenting, ensure that you are making it relevant for your audience, because unless and until you make it relevant for your audience, people would not appreciate whatever you might be saying. And once you sit down with yourself to do your homework according to the needs of your audience, there is no reason as to why you would be forgetting your presentation. So these are very small, small things that make a huge difference. So make it a point that you plan your message well and plan it according to the needs of your audience. Tip number 4, my friends, is include stories. Yes, my friends, it is very important that whenever you are giving your message, sharing your message with your audience, Make it a point that you include stories. Now, in stories does not mean that you have to include a fairy tale. Certainly not, my friends. What is it that you have to do? You have to include, identify the right business stories that are going to gel into your presentation. So let me share an example with you. There was just a minute. In the year July 2009, there was an experiment that was conducted by journalist Rob Walker and author Josh Glenn. They decided, let us find out the importance of stories. So what did they do? They decided to do something different. They picked up some articles in sale of not more than $1 each, and they put it up on eBay. And then they invited journalists. They wanted to put it up on eBay, and then they invited several other content writers or the story writers to write a story on those articles. So it could be a toy, it could be anything to everything, and hardly for $1. They picked up all these items, and the story writers, they volunteered to write the stories, and they put them for auction on eBay. Can you guess what happened? Any idea what happened, my friends? Type this in the chat box in case you have any idea. Well, friends, they put it up for auction. They did not write anything about the make of this thing. They just put up the image on eBay, and then on this second side, on the part, they just gave the story that was written against that particular product of the image of which they had shared on eBay. And underneath, they wrote something. They said, all these are fictional stories. Nothing is real. We are just putting them for auction. And can you guess how much of profit they earned? 2,800% increase, my friends. $3,612.51. Something they earned some for those things on which they spent only $100. So whenever you include the right business stories in your presentations, they make a huge, huge difference. But you have to sit down, do your work, figure out what are those right stories that are going to add value to the audience. And do not forget one thing. Stories always mesmerize the audiences. They have always been of interest to us when we were kids, when we were born, and they interest us even now. So why do you not make use of the stories to your advantage to ensure that you remember your presentation? And not only do you remember your presentation, make it a point that you make it interesting through stories for your audience as well. Because anybody to everybody, irrespective of their years of experience, irrespective of their age, seniors, older generation, younger generation, peers, groups, every single person on this earth loves stories. And this is what you have to do differently. Include stories into your presentation. How many of you are with you? Write with you in the chat box, my friends. Any questions till now? Great, Manisha. Wonderful. And of course, there is a lot of data that is also there. So why can we not include some stories around our data? That also makes a huge difference, because people in the business, they would like to understand the data, and data which is usually considered to be really boring. So can we not put can we not put stories around our data? That really helps. So try to make your presentations all the more interesting so that you also enjoy, your audience also enjoys it, but You will have to weave, identify the right kind of stories for your audience, for which you're required to work a little more, not much. Once you get into the flow, it would not be difficult for you at all. Yes, my friends, one more tip for you now. And this tip is one idea per slide. How many of you believe this works? Or do you have any confusion on this? Should you really have one idea per slide, or should you have more ideas per slide? Tell me. Please share in the chat box. One. All right. Why? And how does that help? Yes, my friends, you're absolutely right, Manisha. One broad idea always helps. It keeps our focus on that one message on that particular slide that we are willing to share with our audience. They do not get distracted, they do not get confused. We have all kinds of people in the audience. And when we just share one idea per slide, it makes a difference. They are able to understand only that one idea. So let us not make our slides chaotic. There are many people who do that. Let us not do that. Let us share only one idea per slide so that the entire focus of the people is on just that one idea. Whatever we are discussing at that particular point in time should be their focus, not anything else that might be written on the slide, right? So focus on one great idea that you would like to share. Thank you, Sainath. Thank you, Manisha. Any questions till now, friends? Okay, my friends, the next tip that you have is get creative. These days is not the time to have a lot of bullet points. Those times have now gone. So what is it that you need to do? You can include, okay, before I tell you, tell me, if I'm saying avoid bullet points, what is it that you think we should do? How is it that we can get creative? And if not bullet points, what then? What can you do? Type in the chat box and tell me what is it that you can do. If you would like us, if Anjali, you are suggesting that we should. Oh, that's wonderful, Manisha. Yes, of course, my friends. Let us have not more than 3 messages, 3 lines. That's it. And make use of images. But do not make this mistake of including too many images, my friends. That is very important. And the images that you select, they should be carefully selected, my friends. What are the right kind of images that would gel well, would go with your presentation? This is something really, really important that you need to focus upon. Here is an example. So whatever message that you want to share with your audience, you can present it like this. And of course, do not make it too wordy, my friends. Not more than 3 to 4 words, or even if you can make it just 1 word or 2 words, that would be great, because the less, the better. You should know what is it that you have to share with your audience. So I hope all of you are getting it. So would you now like to repeat whatever tips that I have shared with you till now? What was tip number 1? Do you remember? Well, tip number 1 was, well, of course, very good. Be mindful of your stage presence, of your state of being. Second was, have a plan. What was the third one? Have a plan, then what is in it for me? Putting your thoughts together. Absolutely right. Anyone else who would like to bring others to notice? We have in 3. Then, of course, do not make it wordy. Avoid bullet points. Make it relevant. Yes, of course. Absolutely correct. Anyone else? Data stories. Wonderful, Jainath. Stories are very, very important. Now we come to our next tip, the 7th tip, and that 7th tip is what do you mean by response versus reaction, my friends? This is your tip number 7. Whenever you're making a presentation, there is a possibility that you might react to whatever the audience might say. So you have to respond. You do not have to react. How is it that you will ensure that you do not react and you respond to whatever the people might ask you? Any idea, my friends? What is it that you can do differently? Well, my friends, the answer lies in doing your homework well. Because once you are ready with your homework, with the kind of questions that the audience might ask, you will give more answers which are more of responsive answers than reactive answers. Responsive means well thought out answers to your audience. That is what helps, my friends. Once again, I will insist, I will encourage all of you to love your audience, feel, change your attitude. Just feel that you are adding value to your audience and they're asking you questions because they do not know certain things. They are just their queries, their questions, and they do not wish to harass you. They do not wish to demean you. It is just a question. They are inquisitive. They would like to know something. And when you change your thought process, when you change your mindset about certain things, you will not react. Rather, you're going to respond to their questions, to their queries. And this is what helps us, making our presentation all the more interesting, lively, remarkable. Mastering our stage presence lies only in changing our mindset. So friends, in case you have any questions, you can type them now in the chat box. I have shared with you just now the 7 tips that are going to help you master your stage presence. I'm looking forward to your questions, if any.
Thank you so much, Anjali. That's going so well. Thanks for putting this great presentation today. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
we'll continue to probably interact and yeah, like any attendees can feel free to unmute yourself. And if you're on YouTube, you can always feel free to join the Zoom, or you can leave your comments at the YouTube chat. Okay, Raj, you have anything to say? Jayant, you have any questions?
No, sure. Um, we have a question in chat.
Okay, by Manisha. What if someone puts you down? Well, Manisha, the first thing is be honest enough to yourself and do your homework well. Be prepared for all kinds of situations that might come. If you feel that someone really puts you down, make it a point that you make use of the person's words very politely. You can always go back and say, okay, let me have a look at it. have heard your suggestion. Let me have a look at it. Let me understand it better, and I will always get back to you. So do not start arguing with the person in the audience ever. So just handle it this way. Or you can also say, okay, I will just put this question in my Pandora's box, and I will always take it with you later. Or we can always discuss this question at the end of the session. Let us not distract the people with our question, or we can always take it outside the room. Let us not disturb the people. So these are different options that you can always make use of to ensure that if somebody is trying to put you down, you can always handle this person, and trust me, the person will never ever come back to you again with the kind of question. I hope I've answered you. In case you still feel that there is something that you might like to ask me again, please do that. Okay,
Anjali,
Manisha has gotten her answer. You can also unmute yourself, guys, and you can ask your questions straight away in case you might not like to put your questions in the chat box.
yeah. So Anjali, what are the other services that you offer in general?
Well, I'm also a soft skills trainer. I am also a coach of entrepreneurial mindset, and I'm a coach of public speaking and presentation skills. So I help people master their stage presence whenever they would like to go on the stage in professional terms. So this is my focus area. And in case somebody would like to learn public speaking or presentation skills, or how understand how to master their stage presence, they can always do that, because I cater to the needs of the entrepreneurs and professionals. And I always customize my course according to their particular need areas so that they really get helped. And I keep on conducting these sessions on Zoom. We have individual classes, we have group classes also. So it works like this.
Okay, great. And yeah, I think Manisha was trying to unmute. Probably, whoever wants to unmute, yeah, feel free to unmute and speak.
So my
Hi.
my biggest fear is always the stage fear. When I see audience, my voice starts cracking, even though with all the plans and preparation and everything that's well thought of and everything is just that my emotional intelligence probably our confidence just isn't there when I see the audience.
Okay, do you look into the eyes of
And
the audience?
no, even with a camera, like I cannot even you know uh, speak in front of the camera sometimes. So that is the issue here.
And may I know your name, please?
Manisha.
Oh, Manisha. All right, Manisha. Manisha, for how long have you been practicing your public speaking and presentation skills?
So I always shy away from it. I always tend to put it try to avoid it. So I haven't practiced it that well.
Okay, this time just do not try to avoid it. Keep on practicing, keep on working towards your skills, and this is what is going to help you out. Don't worry about your failures. Do not get conscious about your audience. In case you cannot even look into the eyes of the audience, I suggest that you look above their heads. All
Got it.
right.
Thank you.
Right. Is this tip, is there anything else that you would like me to help on? I'm always there. You can always get in touch with me. Right. So that is the way you can do it. But make it a point. Do not get demotivated and keep on practicing.
Sure. Thank you.
You're welcome. In any other question, my friends, if you have?
Yeah, and how to, if somebody wants to have, a rating of how an honest rating of how they are doing in their presentations and all. I'm feeling like, yeah, probably we should provide that as a internal service or something like that. For example, internal, having some sessions and then trying to give honest feedback, because getting honest feedback is always difficult. Even close friends also sometimes do not give, but I think a professional would probably give.
I agree with what you are saying. So, identify somebody amongst your friends and go and talk to the person secretly and tell the person, I'm looking forward to an honest feedback. Trust me, that person will give an honest feedback. This is number one. Number two is make it a point that you ask for feedback from somebody who is a true friend and to whom you can always go and seek advice from.
Right. And also sometimes a totally stranger also may help because they may not have any emotional bonding or anything.
Absolutely right. So, but just pick up the people whom you ask for feedback with care. As you said, friends might not also give the right kind of feedback. It is very true. And sometimes you have to be sure, rather, many a times you have to be sure that they know the subject well. In case they do not know the subject well, there is no point in asking for a feedback from them. You feel the other people know well, not necessary. So it is rather better you go and talk to somebody who's already good at presentation skills. It could be any of your seniors, could be the vice president of the organization who does a great job himself. Go and ask his feedback. He would be able to guide you rightly. So selecting the person for the feedback is also very important. Talk to that person secretly and tell that I'm looking forward to a feedback. Go speak to him and practice well. Does that answer you?
Yeah, definitely.
Great. Anyone else, my friends, who would like to unmute themselves and ask any question?
Yeah, sounds good. I think your presentation is so good that I think everybody got their most of their questions answered. But definitely, I think, yeah, it's always good to keep learning on this important topic. We'll definitely stay in touch with you, Anjali.
Thank you
Uh,
so much.
it was an informative session, and yeah, thank you all, the wonderful audience. And we are going to have the next sessions. I mean, because it's a holiday weekend, a happy Thanksgiving again to all. Our next session would be on Tuesday, noon, Tuesday noon Eastern time, and again on the the youth topics. We are going to have one youth topic. The older youth is going to talk about